Oh God, I'm so triggered. So there I was, perusing YouTube, and I came across this clip for MasterChef Canada, where the contestants were instructed to make a Scotch egg. And I thought to myself, brilliant, I'm going to see some nice crunchy coating, nice juicy meat on the inside, and they're going to cut it open and there's just going to be this lovely gooey soft runny yolk. Man, was I disappointed. I realised that I kind of overreact about these sorts of things, but I'm a foodie. Right? Food is what I love, it's what I do, and sometimes things really piss me off. And I'm not even blaming the contestants, right? Because they must have had a brief and told exactly what to do, what they wanted by the producers and the chefs, the judges, etc. And I was just like, right, this is a cooking show, this is a cooking challenge show. Okay, to showcase the best of your abilities. And they present this. Now, it's not hard to overcook an egg, is it? You just whack it in for 10, 12, 13 minutes, whatever. All right, it's going to be done to buggery, isn't it? It's overcooked, the yolk is set, it's going to be pasty and chalky and not very pleasant at all. And according to these so-called experts, every single Scotch egg bar one was all undercooked. Right, undercooked, right? I'll put the clip down so you can go make a judgment for yourself. Those Scotch eggs were no better than any crap that you can get from any supermarket or petrol station across the United Kingdom. And to me, that is not how a Scotch egg should be. To me, you should have a nice golden buttery yolk inside, because that shows the best quality of the egg. You overcook it until it's hard boiled, it's going to be chalky, it's going to be pasty and not very pleasant. Now you might disagree with me. You might be sitting there going, oh no, hard boiled, fully set, that's how it should be. Alright, but you're probably the people that have your steak well done, aren't you? Get in the bin. You know, sometimes I just think somebody should just sit me down, give me a Farley's rusk, a warm glass of milk, and say, Adam, it's okay, right? It's going to be fine. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Right, that's enough of that. Right, I've had my rant. Let's get on with the recipe. Yes, I'm going to make some Scotch eggs, proper ones, with a nice, gorgeous, semi-runny yolk. Now, I've kind of devised this recipe so it's somewhere in between fully runny and fully set, because I think sometimes when you have a Scotch egg and the yolk's too runny, it kind of goes down your chin, it busts all over yourself, and it's not really ideal for a picnic. But again, like I've just ranted on for the past couple of minutes, is if you have it fully set, the yolk's just got no flavour, it's chalky, it's pasty and just not very pleasant. Like the ones you get from the supermarket, it's just not very good. So this kind of sits somewhere in between, so you get an almost fudgy, pudding-like consistency, and I think that works perfect with a Scotch egg. Right, so that's enough of me waffling on, let's go and get this done. And the first thing we need to do is go and prep our sausage meat. Right, so to make the meat for our Scotch eggs, there's two schools of thought really. You can buy your favourite sausages and then just take them out the casings and add that to a bowl and use that. Or you can do what I'm doing, and that's use pork mince and then season it up yourself. Now, the reason I use pork mince is because you get much more control over the flavourings, whereas if you use sausages, you're kind of stuck with that flavour. So by doing it this way, you can kind of tailor it to how you like. So what I'm going to do is I've got some good quality pork mince here, and I'm just going to add that to a bowl. Okay, and then to that I'm going to add some sage and some thyme, some freshly chopped chives. I've got quite a lot in there because I really do like the flavour. You can use spring onion as well. And then I've got some salt, pepper, and I've got a little bit of nutmeg as well. Get that in. And then we're going to add some breadcrumbs. Now what the breadcrumbs do is absorb the fat in the pork, and what that does is it helps keep the meat juicy. So it traps it in there and keeps it nice and moist. And then there's nothing left to do but to mix this up. So get your hands in there and really kind of smush it together. Make sure everything is fully combined even. Because what you don't want is to bite into a pocket of some overly seasoned bits of pork. You know, you want everything evenly spread throughout. Right, so once you've mixed up the sausage meat, it will happily sit to one side whilst we get on and boil the eggs. Now, some little tips for you when you're boiling your eggs is you kind of want to make sure that your eggs are roughly the same size. Now, I'm using these, which are Burford Browns. They're a really good quality egg, and the reason I'm using these is because the yolk is a lovely golden orange rich colour, and they lend themselves really well to a Scotch egg. And this is the average sort of size that you're looking for. It's just a medium-ish sized egg. Now, the cooking time of your egg is going to be dependent on the size and also the room temperature. Now, if you're going to cook your eggs from the fridge, you're probably going to want to add another minute to the time. These are room temperature, which personally I think that's how all eggs should be. You know, you don't buy them in the fridge in the shop. Don't keep them in the fridge at home. Now, to get that sort of nice medium runny yolk, what you want to do is you want to get a pan and fill it up with cold water and bring that to the boil. And once the water is boiling, you want to drop the eggs in nice and gently, preferably using a slotted spoon, or in this case a spider, just so the eggs don't hit the bottom and crack. And then bring the water back up to the boil, and then just turn it down slightly so you get a nice gentle rolling boil. If it's too vigorous, the eggs are going to smash all around the place and they're going to bust. And we're going to gently boil these eggs for exactly 6 minutes. Once that's happened, you need to take it to the sink, drain off that water, and then just run the eggs under a cold tap. And that'll stop the cooking process immediately, and it'll also bring the temperature down so we can peel them. Right, so now that we've cooked the eggs, we've cooled them down, we've peeled them as well. So now we can get on and assemble the Scotch eggs and get these puppies cooked. Right, okay, so I've got the Scotch egg meat out of the fridge here. Now, the best way for you to get consistently good, even Scotch eggs is to actually weigh out the meat. Now, you can just kind of rip off a chunk, roll it into a ball and kind of guesstimate, but, you know, if you want good eggs, this is the best way to do it. Now, this is 500 grams worth of meat, but with everything else added, like the breadcrumbs, the herbs, etc., it's just slightly over. You're talking about 525 grams, something like that, so it's not massive. But what I'm going to do is go over to the scales and weigh this out into 5 equal portions. Now, depending on the size of your eggs, you'll probably get about 5 to 6 Scotch eggs out of this. And if you've got a bit of mixture left over, you can't quite stretch to another egg, don't worry, just stick it in the freezer and use it next time. Right, so I've weighed out the meat portions here and they're ready to go. So I've got 5 pieces here, I've got 5 eggs, and now what we need to do is to get the eggs into this. And I'm just going to roll out one sheet, and then I'm just going to place one of our meatballs in the middle, and then take another sheet of cling film and sort of press that on the top, sort of gently press it out, and then taking a rolling pin, just kind of work it out as if you were rolling out some pastry. Okay, so once you've got it at a nice thickness like that, we just take off the top layer of cling film, and we can pop our egg in the centre, and then you just kind of gather it up around and just sort of mould it gently around the egg. Okay, and then just take off that cling film, because you can use that again. And then what you want to do is to just gently coax the meat around the egg, and then just kind of roll it on the chopping board. You know, take some care with it, because that's just going to even it out. Make sure you seal any holes or anything like that. Okay, and there we have it. That's our first Scotch egg done. So I'm going to crack on with the rest of these, and once they're done, we can bread them up and get them fried. Right, so once you've coated the eggs in the meat mixture, we now need to pané them, which is just a fancy term for coating them in breadcrumbs. So what I've got here is some plain flour, a couple of eggs beaten up, and I've also got some breadcrumbs here. Now, I'm using panko, but you can use whatever breadcrumbs you like. So all I'm going to do is just to lightly season the breadcrumbs with just a touch of salt, not too much because there's plenty in the meat, the flour as well, a little bit of pepper. Give that a little smoosh around, and that's ready to go. So what we're going to do is take one of our eggs, lightly dust it in the flour, shake off the excess, dip it straight in the egg, make sure it's evenly coated, and then straight in those breadcrumbs. Now, you kind of want to pack it on nice and tight, and the reason for that is if you don't, they'll all fall off in the fryer, and you'll end up with loads of burnt breadcrumbs in the bottom of your fryer, and you don't want that. And that's your finished Scotch egg. Well, it's not finished because it's not cooked, you can't eat that. So I'm going to carry on, finish these off, and then we're ready to fry. Right, so I've got my pan here full of oil. I'm just using regular sunflower oil. Now, word of advice, folks, that is hot oil. I'm an idiot. The two combined, it's going to be disaster. Don't be at all like me. Get yourself a deep fat fryer or a probe so you can regulate the temperature. I'm just winging it because, well, I'm a professional chef, obviously. But really, you want to get your oil to about 175 degrees C or 350 degrees Fahrenheit, which I have no idea if this oil is at that temperature, but I'm using the wooden spoon fizzing method. So that's fizzing, so that tells me it's done. Oh, honestly, why am I not dead yet? So then you want to get your eggs in one at a time. Now you want to fry these for about 5 to 6 minutes until they're nice and golden brown. Now the end goal here is to get them nice and golden brown. We want to cook that sausage meat through and gently warm the egg yolk as well. We don't want to cook the egg yolks anymore, so about 5 to 6 minutes and they should be golden. You are going to need to kind of move them around a bit, turn them so they don't stick to the bottom. So I'm going to give these 5 to 6 minutes until they're nice and golden brown, and once they're cooked we can leave them to cool for a bit, then we can eat them. Now do not, I repeat, do not bite into those straight away. If you do, you're going to instantly vaporise and you're going to die. They're extremely hot, okay, so you need to leave them for about 10 minutes just to kind of mellow out, calm down and just relax, and then we can eat them. Right, so this has cooled down now for about 10 minutes, so the only thing left to do now is to cut it open. So are you ready for the money shot? I think you are. Oh. Hey, look at that gorgeous fudgy oozy egg yolk. Now just to kind of compare it to the average supermarket one, I bought some from my local shop, I shan't name who. We'll cut one of these in half. Right, look at it, just boring grey sausage meat, solid chalky pasty egg yolk. Okay, it doesn't even fit, it just falls out. Which would you rather have? So you got your Shane McGowan or you got your George Clooney? Pays your money, take your chance. Now I will concede that the sausage meat isn't quite as evenly spread as I'd like, but it doesn't really matter, it's still going to taste absolutely delicious. Right, here it is, my gorgeous Scotch egg. I just need to smash it in my face. The thing that really makes this is the crunch. Now, once you cool these down and put them in the fridge, you're not going to have that same crispiness because, you know, they're going to be sitting in the fridge. But if you have them straight out of the fryer, you're going to get that nice crunchy texture. That meat is so juicy and that egg yolk is delicious. I mean, this is the other half because I've just demolished the other bit. And you can see how sort of puddingy, jammy, fudgy that the egg is. So it's not fully runny, you know, it's not going to run down your chin or anything like that. You can still kind of have this as a picnic egg, but you still got that nice buttery yolk which you want from a good Scotch egg. Right, so there we are guys, that's how to make a Scotch egg. You can kind of play around with the seasonings, you can put whatever flavourings you like in the meat, but the real key here is to use good eggs, okay? Because that's going to make your Scotch egg that much better. Now I'm going to have to go because the battery light on my camera is blinking, it's going to cut out any minute because I've done lots of filming for this today. So thanks again for watching. If you like what you see, then please stick a like down below, leave a comment, share it across your social media platforms as usual. And of course, if you stick around at the end, there'll be some links to some of the videos and also my face will pop up where you can subscribe. And I'll see your gorgeous faces next time for more tasty fun and frolics. And bye for now.